The first one that I'd like to discuss is Praan mudra.
Okay.
It's again very simple mudra. Again, something which is very helpful in revitalizing you.
Okay.
Like you asked me earlier, that end of a day, we come back home and
We just spend
we are spent
our
completely.
energy, yes.
And I mean, work is not all right. We would like to be able to feel alive even when we are back home.
Yes.
Things we'd like to do with our lives when we are back
Yes,
home.
Yeah.
And then that's a good time to practice this.
Okay.
Before that, I'm just going to backtrack a little bit, and I'm going to mention that before you start practicing a mudra, it's advisable to just exhale vigorously a couple of times, empty out all the compressed air at the bottom of your lungs. Okay, it's like creating space for something new to enter your body.
Yes, and I know that we're going to be talking about pranayama in a different video. If you can just maybe help us understand a little bit more of how, is it just because we sometimes, we don't understand how that deep breath, or how really breathing from the diaphragm and breathing from all those terms that we hear. So if you could just somebody who does not know anything about breathing from here, or really breathing a deep breath, how do we how can we just sit and prepare ourselves before the mudra, like you mentioned?
Okay, so if you can take just about 2 or 3 minutes to sit in any comfortable position. I personally prefer sitting in Sukhasana, but if you're more comfortable sitting in a chair with your feet hanging down, that's
like this
perfectly acceptable. Okay, and then just bring one hand to your abdomen. Okay, our lungs actually expand all the way from the clavicle here, all the way down to the diaphragm. Whereas we are only using about 1/4 of our lungs. Most of us are just chest breathers. Okay, and that's another reason why we are nowadays suffering from so many anxiety issues. Okay, the brain feels starved of oxygen. Once you learn to breathe right, once you learn to use the optimum capacity of your lungs, draw in deep breaths, release your breath completely, it's amazing how quickly you learn to relax. So just place your hands on your abdomen, and this time when you take in a deep breath, try and see if you can expand your abdomen as you breathe in. As you inhale, see that the abdomen expands, comes forward, and as you exhale, abdomen goes back in, relaxes. Inhale, abdomen expands, exhale. Inhale, abdomen expands, exhale.
Feels so amazing.
It's very satisfying. Somehow when you start reversing the breathing pattern that you have started when we adopted this while we were growing up. Like I said, life happens, and a lot of natural things go out of balance. Breath is one of the first things to go out of balance. Once you start relearning how to breathe properly, so many of these modern day ailments just fall off. They fall away. You don't even realize when. You start sleeping better. You don't. I see a lot of people walk into a yoga class, and it's bright and early in the morning. They have slept in the night, but they're yawning through the class. So with them, I know that most of the times people come to yoga for weight loss, and you've also heard all of those reasons why people come for yoga class. You're also training to be a yoga teacher. The first thing to address with all of them is proper breathing. And once you learn that, once you learn abdominal breathing instead of chest breathing,
you can't go back actually.
You can't really go back.
So that's the cue for those of you who've been thinking why is breathing so important. So try abdominal breathing, and you will not want to go back to your chest breathing.
When I remember this, whenever we were younger, when I would be fighting with my brother, my mother would tell me 10 deep breaths, and then if you still feel like hitting him, go ahead and do so. And usually after 10 deep breaths, you've forgotten why you were angry with the person.
Which is true.
Yes.
True, yeah.
So yeah, even if you can manage to do 10 deep abdominal breaths in the entire duration of your waking hours, that's great. It will really, you will see how your entire energy levels improve by leaps and bounds. And then come and practice the Prana Mudra. So like I said, before you sit down to practice any mudra, exhale vigorously a few times. Okay, so that's like empty out everything and make room for the new element which you're trying to bring, which is balance.
Balance.
Okay,
Right.
and then come down to Praan Mudra. So these two fingers, your ring finger and your tiny finger, bring them in contact with the thumb on both sides. The other two fingers remain straight.
Okay.
Or if you find it difficult to keep them straight, just don't be too hard on yourself.
Okay.
Allow the fingers to be relaxed. It's
Be
perfectly
natural.
all right. Okay? So you form a claw with your hand. That's perfectly okay. Bring them to rest somewhere on your legs, like this or like this, so that your entire upper body feels supported. And once again, close your eyes and focus on the breath. It is recommended that you start by practicing each mudra for 3 minutes, and then once you get used to holding your fingers in certain positions, because I must warn you, it's not easy to keep your fingers in these positions. Your fingers will rebel. They are not used to staying in one mudra for that long. It'll take you some time.
Okay, and
So
that's okay.
that's perfectly okay. Like I said, the first thing, the first kindness that you must show is to yourself. Be kind to yourself. Be gentle with yourself. Don't try to every time. It's not necessary to, push yourself to the limit.
I'm gonna do it every day.
Just no,
and it's-
it just would not work.
Yeah.
Because like I said, it's brain training.
Yeah.
If you try to start forcing yourself, often the brain would rebel. So you have to coax yourself, okay? You have to gently, soothingly talk to yourself and talk to your brain. Bring your hands in Prana Mudra, sit there, focus on what you are trying to achieve here. What you're trying to achieve is revitality.
Okay.
You want to be vigorous again. You want to be full of energy again. So let's just focus on that.
Okay.
There are certain positive affirmations that you can say to yourself. You can always say that I am vital, I am alive.
Okay.
And just, if you have a secret word, a chant that you're particularly fond of, you can always repeat that in your head when you're practicing this. But most important is to keep the ring finger and tiny finger in touch with the thumb and make sure that you're breathing, like into the abdomen if you can, or breathe, just whichever way.
Okay.
This is also something that helps, once again, it helps ground your energies. Again, centers you. Okay? A lot of people, like wrong breathing patterns lead to nervousness and anxiety and
Right.
all sorts of things.
Right.
For those people, this is extremely helpful. Okay?
Okay.
Because whenever we feel nervous, it's essentially a lack of self-confidence. This helps with self-confidence.
Okay.
This is prana is is energy or life force.
Yeah.
Okay,
life
when the
force.
life force is
Yeah.
low,
Yeah.
you feel nervous, you feel the lack of self-confidence.
Yes.
This helps bring up the life force. Okay.
Interesting. Very interesting.
And the other one, Prithvi.
Prithvi.
Again, it's along the same lines. Prithvi Mudra is also some. In fact, it's very effective if you're going into a presentation, if you have a class, you have an exam to write, and you are not feeling quite so confident. I'm not saying that you're not well prepared. I'm sure you know your subject, you are prepared.
Yeah, but
but
butterflies in the stomach and
Butterflies in
just
the stomach.
anxiety for no reason sometimes.
for no reason.
Yeah.
Okay, that's when these mudras, Prana Mudra and Prithvi Mudra, can really help.